Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Grab a coffee, grab some snacks, because I'm gonna tell you all about Dresdner Ostern and what I got there. But yeah, first let me put them aside and later on I will go through them one by one. First I would like to tell you what Dresdner Ostern even is. So Dresdner Ostern is a huge exhibition where they sell all kinds of stuff, mainly Easter oriented, because it's 1 week before Easter. And yeah, you can buy lots of different decorations for Easter, like Easter eggs, Easter bunnies and stuff like that. But the thing why I visit Dresdner Ostern is because of the Orchid exhibition. And I believe it's the biggest in Germany at least. And the great thing about Dresdner Ostern is that it's not just an orchid exhibition, it's also combined with a lot of vendors where you can buy lots of different orchids, and not only orchids. You can also buy aroids, and there's always one vendor that sells succulents and caudiciforms. And if you watched my videos, you know I'm getting into the succulent game. And it's such a great exhibition and place to shop for orchids that I go there every year. And I believe it's my 4th year I went there. It's a really interesting experience, let's just say that. But yeah, of course, we also always take the time to take a stroll around Dresden and go through the city, look at the buildings, because it's a really, really nice city. You have these beautiful buildings. Some of them, like the Frauenkirche, were rebuilt after the Second World War. And you can really tell that they put a lot of effort into how the city looks. And it's a really nice composition. You can always take really nice pictures from the skyline, and it always looks really nice and beautiful. And of course, we also have our favorite sushi place there. It's really crazy to me that we have a favorite sushi place at every city that we visit regularly. The only issue I have with Dresdner Ostern, and especially the place where you can buy the orchids, where all the vendors are located, is that it is really crowded. If I say crowded, you cannot imagine how crowded it really is. It is intense, to say the least. And this time was a little bit special because they changed the location where the vendors are located. Usually it was all together, all orchid themed things were located in one building. So you had the exhibition at one end of the building and the vendors in the front of the building. And now they separated completely. You had a full-on orchid exhibition in one building, and then you had the vendors for themselves in a completely different building. And yeah, I totally forgot about that, and I went in there and thought, okay, where are the vendors? And I was a little bit panicking, because you usually have 20-ish minutes before it gets so crowded that you cannot even take a look at the orchids, and it is impossible to buy something there, because people will just push you aside because they are just ruthless and want their orchids, I guess. So I was rushing through the exhibition, which I'm not very interested in. And I was searching for the vendors because I'm just interested in looking at the orchids and purchasing them. After a short period, I found the vendors, and it was almost too late because the building with the vendors was completely full. But yeah, I managed to purchase some orchids, of course. It's really, really nice to see all these different vendors, lots and lots of vendors from different parts of the world, like Asia and South America. It's really amazing, but it's just too full. You have lots and lots of people coming from France, from Italy, from East Europe. It's just too crowded in there. I hope they will sell tickets in the future that have kind of a time restriction to them, so you get a time slot, and that they would restrict the people visiting the building with the orchid vendors, so it doesn't get too crowded, because it's, yeah, like I said, really, really extreme. So the first orchid that I picked up was actually an orchid I was looking for, with a little bit of bonus or twist, or I don't know how to call it. And yeah, it is this beautiful thing right here. This is Phalaenopsis analerati socardi, and this is the pyloric version. I was actually looking for the normal version with just one lip, and yeah, this is a nice bonus because this has 3 lips. And I read a lot about this orchid. It's supposed to be very floriferous and very eager to flower, and yeah, it's a really, really nice orchid, and it fits perfectly into my color scheme, which is mainly white and pinks. I really had to have it, and yeah, it has 4 flower stalks. 1, 2, 3, no, 5, even 5 flower stalks. So this is crazy to me, because usually with Phalaenopsis you get 1 or maybe 2 flower stalks, but 5 is intense. I'm aware that they might have forced this orchid to put out 5 flower stalks at once, but yeah, I will see in the future how this specific cultivar does for me. And this was from, oh yeah, it's from Joseph Wu Orchids. If you are into Phalaenopsis, you probably stumbled upon Joseph Wu Orchids. Joseph Wu does a lot of breeding. He does also experiment a lot with blue Phalaenopsis. So if you are looking for those specific orchids, Joseph Wu is probably the address to look for. The second plant that I got at Joseph Wu Orchids was a little surprise and an impulse buy, I would say, because I had one orchid in my hand that I was about to purchase together with the Analerita socardi, and then I saw this one. So the other one that I put aside, that I didn't want anymore, it had small leaves and large flowers, and I really loved the contrast between the small leaves and the large flowers. And the only problem I had with this orchid that I put aside was that the flowers didn't open 100%. I don't know if this was intentional or if this was some kind of stress problem with the plants, that they kind of wilted a little bit. At least it looked like that a little bit, and I'm not really into those flowers that don't open completely. So I put that aside, and then as I was about to hand my money to the vendor, I saw this orchid and was immediately amazed by the huge flowers. And then I took a sniff and smelled the flowers, and I was completely blown away, because this is an extremely fragrant orchid, and I'm not used to fragrant orchids of this size. I've never seen them. Maybe I can put my palm next to it. It's just huge. It completely blew me away. And this orchid is Phalaenopsis Joy Spring Venus crossed with Joy Angel Voice and Ludmania. And this is accession number 4. And this orchid was also just 15 euros, which is insane to me because, yeah, it's not a flower shop orchid. It has a name, it has a history, it has a family background, it has an accession number, and it is insanely fragrant. Unfortunately, right now I cannot detect the smell. And it's probably because it's quite cold in here. We had a cold spell the last days, but it was fragrant at Dresdner Ostern and in the hotel where it was really, really warm. So I think it's a temperature thing, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this was a complete surprise and a really nice one. Because the flower is just really, really interesting to me. You have these white petals which are speckled with these pink dots, and then the lip is so interesting. It is pink at the tip, and then you have this kind of sunset pattern, and it gets bright yellow in the center, and then you have those brown reddish rusty dots in the center, and it's just a spectacle to me. I've never seen something like that before, and to have a fragrant orchid of this size with these huge flowers is really insane to me. And the roots also look really good. They're green and plump, little signs of root rot, but nothing major, looks very manageable. And yeah, I'm really excited to grow this orchid and see how often it will bloom, hopefully multiple times a year. If you watch my videos, you know I love orchids that bloom multiple times a year. But even if it blooms just once a year and puts out this fragrant show, and hopefully it will get fragrant again once it gets warm again, yeah, I will be quite happy. So the next plant I picked up is not an orchid, and it is a plant that is related to clover. Once this plant blooms, you will probably be able to tell that it is. And this is Biophytum species Pangui. I have a similar plant in my collection, and it is Biophytum sensitivum. It looks similar, but it is really small. I mean, like, yeah, maybe 1/3 of the size. And I was immediately struck by the size of this plant because with Biophytum sensitivum, you always get the impression of a mini palm, and it is often sold as a mini palm, though it is not related to palms in any way. But with this and this stem size, you really get the impression that this is a mini palm. And I was just, yeah, really amazed also by the price. It was just 15 euros, and I really got to have it. And I have 2 plants in here, so I can do some experiments, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough, because when you Google this plant, Biophytum species Pangui, you will find out that this is not a species name. This is just yeah, a plant that doesn't have a name yet. So it is named after the region where it was found, Pangui. I hope I pronounced this correctly. I'm not sure, probably not. And yeah, it's supposed to be way more sensitive than Biophytum sensitivum, which is weird when you look at the name. But Biophytum sensitivum is can take a lot drier air compared to this apparently. This needs much more humidity and yeah, probably does not so well with drier air, but I'm willing to experiment. Maybe I will wait once I have some seeds, which yeah, gives me more opportunity to experiment with the offspring. Maybe I'm not willing to sacrifice one of these mother plants. Oh, it's really crazy. I also see a root forming on the stem, so maybe I will be able to do some cuttings. And yeah, I'm really sorry that they are in these plastic bags, but we just got back, and I always acclimatize my plants first to the temperature, and they stay in this plastic wrap for some days, so they don't get shocked immediately by a different temperature, different humidity. So I do just one by one. First temperature acclimatization, and then I remove the plastic wrap slowly, and then they get to experience the new environment they are in. And it worked fine in the past, so I won't change this now. And this is probably going into an IKEA box anyways, because I want to pamper it first with high humidity, and then I'm going to do some experiments with low humidity and see if it does well in a normal indoor environment, which is usually not so humid. So actually the last plant I took up and I run by this plant maybe 3 or 4 times, and I was very hesitant to take it up. And I told myself, if this specific plant with this little bud is still there, I'm gonna get it. And if not, that's my sign to not get it. Because in the past, I also bought orchids that were not in bloom, and which haven't bloomed since for me. So I told myself I'm only getting plants that are in bloom or in bud at Dresdner Ostern, so I don't have the fuss to get them to blooming size, because sometimes you see new cultivars or new crosses and you don't know if this is already blooming size or not. And so I made the simple rule: only buy plants that are in bloom or in bud. And this was the only one that has a bud or had a bud. B-U-D, not B-U-T-T. And this is Paphiopedilum thaianum crossed with a sibling. So I imagine that this is not a clone. This is just a cross with different thaianums, and this is the offspring. So in my mind, it makes sense that I picked up this specific plant that has a bud, because it tells me that it is more floriferous than its siblings. I don't know if you can jump to this conclusion this fast, but yeah, in my mind it makes sense. And I did a quick Google search while I was there, and I found out that it is very slow growing, but once you get the conditions right, it does well and blooms well. And I got this orchid because I'm really into Paphiopedilum delnati, and this has basically the same flower form, but in a much smaller size, and it is white. And I was about to get Paphiopedilum delnati, the white form. I kind of regret that I did not, because it has really huge flowers. But my issue with Paphiopedilum delnati is that it puts out these huge flower stalks, and they're really long, and I'm not sure how to regulate that, because you have this nice plant with sometimes small leaves, then you have this huge flower stalk, and you have a huge flower on top, and it looks a little bit wonky, not gonna lie. But yeah, let's see how this Paphiopedilum does for me. I will shoot out a maybe picture or short once it blooms. Sometimes they abort the flower because of the stress. It's much colder in here compared to Dresdner Ostern itself and the hotel we are staying at. And it is really possible that the bud gets aborted, but let's hope not. But yeah, even if the plant is not flowering, I think it will look quite nice because it has these brighter dots on the leaves, so the leaves look also really interesting, and it's just a cute little plant. It doesn't take much space, you can put it everywhere. It's just looking really cute. The next plant I picked up was this little thing here, Tolumnia gyrac pink. I'm not sure if this is correct or if the vendor just put some kind of name on the tag, because Tolumnias are mostly seedlings and not cloned very often. At least I'm not aware of that. So yeah, this is probably a seedling, and this is a color I don't have in my collection yet. It's mostly white mixed with pink, and it gets darker in the center, and then you have this characteristic yellow center that Tolumnias often have. And yeah, basically every time I'm at Dresdner Ostern I pick up Tolumnias because they are quite cheap. I believe this was 15 euros, which is a little bit expensive for Tolumnias, but it's all right. And you cannot go wrong with Tolumnias. So yeah, this was a no-brainer for me. They are small, they just bloom once a year, but they bloom for a fairly long time. And they can rebloom from the flower stalk once the initial flowers have faded away. But yeah, the plant itself is not looking super healthy. I can see new growth, which is great. The roots look great, but the leaves got some spots which look like a bacterial infection or maybe even a virus, hopefully not. And I can't remember that it had those spots when I picked it up, so I'm moderately concerned. But let's see how it goes. So the last vendor I visited was, of course, the vendor that sold succulents. If you watch my videos, you know that I'm getting into the succulent game. And if you love caudiciforms, if you love succulents, of course you gotta get Dioscorea elephantipes, because it has this really nice codex. And once again, I was really amazed by the price, because this was 25 euros and it has a huge codex. If you dig deeper into the substrate, it gets bigger and bigger. And usually for this size of codex, you pay like 40 to 50 euros, at least in Germany. It's insane. And the codex is mostly buried, but you can see that this is a really old plant, and the codex looks really nice. It is firm. It has a really nice form. Wow, this is a really huge codex. I'm amazed. It gets bigger and bigger the more you dig into the substrate. Anyways, I will probably repot this and expose the codex, because this is why I got the plant, so I want to see the codex. And I'm really excited to grow this plant because I never owned it, and I'm excited to see how it does for me and how fast the codex will grow. I read for other caudiciforms that if you bury the codex, it will grow bigger much faster. I don't know if this is the case also with Dioscorea elephantipes, but I am not in a hurry because this is already a huge codex and a really nice deal for this price. So I am gonna expose this codex and soak in all its beauty. Next plant that I got, and This is actually an experiment. So this is Sedum Joyce Tulloch, and it looks to me like it is a variegated sedum. You have leaves that are completely white, you have leaf margins that are white, you have half leaves that are white, and a pinkish hue. So I am hoping that this plant, and specifically the variegated regions of the leaves, will get really, really pink in intense sunlight, which sedums usually do. And I was particularly interested in this specific pot because it contained 2 plants, which is nice. And at first glance, it looked a little bit like they were crested. Upon further inspection, it seems like it just has multiple growth points. But yeah, let's see how it will grow. But yeah, other than that, it's a really beautiful plant. It has these dense rosettes, and the leaves are also a little bit hairy, at least the young ones. So they have a really nice sheen to them. So yeah, overall a really nice, beautiful succulent. Next succulent I chose was Sedum Nariz de Payaso, question mark. The tag is a little bit withered, so I'm not sure. I will type this into Google and then I will put the name onto the screen. And yeah, I liked the form of the succulent, and it has a little side shoot here, which looks completely different to the top here. The leaves are much more rounded and they have a violet brown hue. So I am excited to see how it looks once I put this up in succulent soil, because it is in a very organic mix, which is probably not very suitable for sedums. And I will put this in a mainly inorganic medium and in intense sunlight, and then I hope that the leaves will all get like this little side shoot here, because they look like little grapes, I think. Yeah, like grapes that are ripening. So it looks much better than this one on the top, although this is also beautiful, don't get me wrong. But with sedums especially, you can achieve all these different kinds of optics with the leaves, depending on how you fertilize them, how you water them, how much sunlight they can get. And there's a lot of scammery going on, where vendors will put fantasy names on there which are not registered, and the plants will look stunted and beautiful and have stumpy leaves with interesting colors ranging from violet to pink. And once they get in a normal environment and a normal watering regimen, they look completely different. And this is not nice, because when people buy these plants and if they are not into succulents and don't read a lot into them, they might not know that this is not a registered name and just a fantasy name made up of a plant that was just immensely stressed and just looks a certain type of way because it got a specific treatment. And yeah, this is most of the time not reproducible in an indoor environment. So just be aware of that. That was my haul from Dresdner Ostern. And yeah, I can definitely recommend Dresdner Ostern if you are into orchids, into succulents. There were also some carnivorous plants if you are into them. So if you are into those plants, and if you like to see plants, touch plants, smell plants before you buy them, this is a really great opportunity for you. However, be aware that Dresdner Ostern will get really crowded, really fast. Maybe the problem is also that I always visit at the first day of Dresdner Ostern, because in my mind it makes sense. The stocks are full, the vendors have all the plants, and probably everyone thinks like that and everyone visits at the first day. So maybe if you're not into the super crazy cultivars, not into the super rare plants, consider visiting at the second or maybe at the third day or in the afternoon. I'm pretty sure that the crowd will die down a little bit, and that then you have more time and space to look around, because the area where the vendors are located is really tiring. You have all these impressions from all these different plants, smells, then you have so many people bumping into you, being quite rude at times and pushing you aside because they just want what they want, and they will get what they want because they want what they want. So I'm not that kind of person. I try to be polite. Yeah, it's really tiring when you get pushed around all the time. So be aware. If you are not one of those people that pushes back, you will get tired really fast. So this time we stayed there, I think, for 2 hours, including roaming around the other parts of the exhibition and looking around, which are not that interesting for me. That was it from Dresdner Ostern. I hope you liked this video. If you did, consider giving it a thumbs up and consider also subscribing to this channel. Support small YouTubers if you like. And if you are excited to see a follow-up video or follow-up pictures, stay tuned. Some other videos will follow. See you. Bye. Warum juckt in meiner Nase so? Mann!